From aerial roots. Lung, if breath is our only commonwealth, if we are evidence of what words bury, Sakman, I say it navigates the air. After measured and form disassembled, sanding, sanding, sanding. Is remembered the first time I paddled, freshman year at Chief Gadao Academy, 1994. Chief Gadao is the ancient chief of the southern village of Inalahan. Prayers flay, wood treated to strengthen, hungen, 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 magahit. Signs of crossing, mast, yard, boom, sail, rigging. They can't bury light even if they burn our word for light, even if we have no nation. From aerial roots. To trace the seams of California sequoia redwood from the raft Nord for hull and outrigger. To trace the veins of funnels, braces, to say Sina, I say Sina, mast. Is remembered our class practiced our counting outside, sitting in the field aligned with our group. Our teacher, Mr. Flores, recited Hacha, Hugwa, Tulu, Fatfat, Lima. We repeated after him Hacha, Hugwa, Tulu, Fatfat, Lima. He held his stick chart to the sky. Hungen, 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 magahit. When water grips the end of my throat, say, Sina, so far away, say, we can cross any body of water if we believe in our own breath. And so I found it very interesting that part of the wood they used to build the Sina was California redwood that they sent in. So for me, it was, that was kind of my connection to that. It's like, oh, I'm in California too. That's interesting. From aerial roots. I don't remember who told me that the reef around Guam is made of our bones. Burial in every wave. It's remembered Mr. Flores explained that this was how our ancestors counted. Hacha, Hugwa, Tulu, Fatfat, Lima. I had never heard these numbers before. When my dad counts, he switches tacks between English and Spanish. Grandma counts in Spanish. When she read my first book, she asked, what does Hacha mean? I said Hacha means one. She looked surprised, asked in what language? In Chamorro, I said, in our language. She replied, I speak Chamorro all my life and I never heard that word. One is uno in Chamorro. No, Grandma, that's Spanish. She looks confused. Hacha, hacha, she repeats, feeling the sound in her mouth. Maybe you mean hatsa. Hatsa means to hit. Uno is one. I never heard of hacha. Yet, the sail of the Sakman pulses, once and now guide, to prove Oceania is still our flag, to prove moving islands. Sina, say, to voice all the way to the sun. Hungen, 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 magahit. From aerial roots. Miles of blood on the Sakman, unraveled, unshelled, unaccustomed. There's no other act as simple as closing or opening your eyes. Hungen, 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 magahit. Is remembered when we perfected our counting and rhythm, Mr. Flores gave us paddles to practice. Our group held our paddles on alternating sides. He showed us how to hold them, how to move our bodies. Then he counted Hacha, Hugwa, Tulu, Fatfat, Lima. Then we counted, the edge of our paddles skimming the dirt. Skimming coral. There's no last legend because distance is so full of flight. The canoe moves further than, Sina, and our bodies blessed with coconut oil, rainwater, charcoal, white lime, soil, palm leaves, seawater. From aerial roots. What we carry to live in the memory of those who don't see us in our own. Is remembered, we went to Hagåtña boat basin, small canoe, no outrigger, no sail, the five of us. Mr. Flores in another canoe alongside counting Hacha, Hugwa, Tulu, Fatfat, Lima. We repeat, we paddle, the current, our bodies aligned, row in the apparent wind, past the breakwater, past the reef. what we inherit, what is passed from. The salt wind trades in things unknown and unpredictable. Even without the names of the stars, even when we lost contact, it will never be too dark for us to see. Hungen, 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 magahe. From aerial roots. In the landscape with a canoe approaching. Once upon a time, dead air during return, what do we have outside their pursuit? As we once were, because our bodies are 60% water. Hungen, 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 magahe. The renaming of the world has never stopped, as once passed down, Sina arriving home and no one threw ashes in our eyes. Once lived here because our blood is nearly 80% water. Hungen, 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 magahe. Is remembered in the summer after freshman year, my parents decided to move to California. Many of our possessions sold. I was scared on the airplane to San Francisco. I was 15 years old. I am 30 now. I can still feel the burn of movement in my body from pulling the current. Still, the movement rooted in my body. Still, overseas, aerial. Still, to be still. The Galiti is at my sister's apartment in Fremont, California. Actually, she lives in Oakland now. In Oakland, California. And the Sacrament is at my parents' house in Santa Clara. Well, they live in San Jose now, in San Jose, California. Sometimes, the only weapon is the shape of a canoe. As it once was, our body on reef edge, our breath becoming conch shell, once belonged because our lungs are nearly 90% water. Hungen, 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 magahe. Sina, inspected by customs, once died naturally. To see with the eye of the wind as we once will, we rise from the wake in irons in the theft of the sun as we once are. Because the Pacific Ocean is 5 parts land to 1,000 parts water. Hungen, 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 magahe.